Yeah, I think casual feedback kind of is the enemy, even for us as individuals. If you're getting feedback from colleagues or seniors, people want to be liked, or people want to, don't really want to offend. So I'll come back to that in a moment. But in terms of clients, Kathy, casual feedback, what do you do when you sense it's been a bit glanced off and a bit casual? What would your advice be?
I think just asking sort of probing questions, right? So if you've delivered data, for example, and for a number of weeks they've just said, yeah, things are okay, things are okay. Asking a little bit about how the data has performed, because then you can really find out if the data was useful, who were the end users of the data, maybe asking for a call with those people as well. So a lot of time we deal with data managers, but the end users would be marketing managers or campaign teams. So asking even, for an introduction to the campaign teams, I'd just like to understand, how our data performed in your last 3 campaigns, maybe. Asking those sort of probing, very specific questions, I think will then help them respond as well.
Yeah, and in the software teams, I think asking hard questions about, did you manage to have a look at my code? Was there anything you would have done differently? Do you feel it was reasonably efficient and clean, or the front end that we worked on? Can we get some feedback on that? So you're kind of asking more searching questions to draw out a more relevant answer. So I think the feedback could be can also apply in the technology sphere as well as the data sphere. I think that idea of the end users of the data, and you're right, we have a lot of data managers and they're working for, let's say, an event producer.
Yeah.
That event producer was the one who sent the emails, who tried to get the delegates or the sponsors. What did she think of the data?
Right.
Because it may be that they're complaining amongst themselves that the merit data is rubbish, but our data manager doesn't tell us that. And that's a very, very dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
So you've got to get some feedback on your work from those people that are using the outcomes. I mean, some clients are good, like Glenigan will tell us about client feedback where their customers are saying we're really good and where our customers are complaining about aspects of the data. So and CAP and others are quite good about giving us that end user feedback, but some of our stakeholders don't. But if there's unrest or if they're unhappy with our data elsewhere in his organization, we've got a duty to try and find that out and bring them onto a call every now and again. Would be a great way to do that. But yeah, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, sometimes I think, like you said, it's our responsibility to kind of know what get feedback.
Yeah,
that's our responsibility. So when people are say everything's good, it was all good, maybe ask a few questions like, what is it that worked for you, or what would we need to do to make it better for you?
Yeah.
So a bit more, I think, specific questions, probing questions, getting a little bit more into the details, so that basically we get something actionable from that.
Yeah.
Some actionable insights that we can go work on.
Yeah, and I think they do. The other aspect is around language, and certainly our UK clients will be very understated with the language and the choice of words that they use. So if somebody says, yeah, the data was okay, it was fine, there was the consultants part were a bit disappointed with that. Like, that's actually a red flag. Didn't shout, didn't scream, they didn't, a bit disappointed, or we thought that was a bit weak. Like that's be careful about that. You hear something like that, your ear should be pricking up, and you should be thinking, hang on, and you dive into that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, or where did you get the feedback on that particular part of the data set, or that particular piece of code, or that that thing was buggy. How many bugs did you find? If they use words like disappointed or underwhelmed or not sure, or a kind of an anemic okay, it was fine. That's why you have to be this active listening that we've talked about in other sessions. Because a lot of clients will not, they will not go severe. They will not go hard-edged. They just go to some other supplier. Or you get a notice 2 months later that they're downsizing your team. So it's very important you pick up on those kind of weaker compliments almost. It's almost, what do they say? It's sort of damned by faint praise, I think is the phrase.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of positive, but there's a weakness to it that you can sense. Or where they'll explicitly say, I'm disappointed. Americans and Dutch or Irish will probably be more direct, actually. But I think with the English in particular, that they tend to be understated with their language. So we have a duty to really watch out for that and jump on it, or else you'll find out 3 months later in a much more impactful way.
Yeah, and it's just a cultural nuance for us to be very aware of, because most of our clients are in the UK, right? So that language difference is from the cultural difference as well, right? Because they don't, they want to be polite, right? So because of that, the statements may be very, very muted, but just to listen and understand that that's not exactly what they mean is really important for us to recognize.
Yeah.
So, kind of seeing through the subtleness of it to kind of, go probe into it and see what exactly is the problem. Because unless we know it, we can't fix it. So I guess, and also the workplace in a way has changed from maybe 15, 20 years ago in terms of the language that is used.
Yeah, and to sort of personal level,
yes.
For you guys getting feedback, yeah, you're right. 30 years ago, the manager would have shouted at somebody.
There was a lot more of shouting, abusing, screaming. The whole workplace has changed now. It's that's passé in a way. But it doesn't mean that when the feedback is received, without the noise, it's still, the feedback still holds. So we need to be able to cut through that and understand that it is serious when it's coming.
Because we've definitely seen staff members who we've given feedback to that's been quite pointed.
Yes.
And there's definitely a problem, but it's been done in a kind of matter-of-fact, flat, casual tone, and they just don't get it because it didn't come with the hard-edged, with the raised voice, or with shouting. And we've had staff members who completely missed 2-3 rounds of negative feedback, and it's only when there's an explosion, oh, okay, now I get it, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the explosion in today's workplace. If you need the explosion and a big Tomasa to sort of get the message, you need to get a time-traveling machine. Back to when I was in my 20s and doing it. But yeah, so I think it is a workplace cultural change that's happened actually quite quickly.
Yeah.
I would say in the space of 10 years.
Yes.
So as individuals, again, you can probe for feedback on your performance. What irritates you about me? You ask that question to your manager. Or have you been disappointed with my work in the last month? It takes a brave employee to ask that. It's a great question. If we're on the top of the probing. So it is one to think about, and hopefully we get the message around subtlety and around active listening and really understanding what's been said and acting upon it.
Yeah.